Yes? So Buddha originally was an Indian prince. But his teaching contradicted Vedism, or the Vedic teachings, the caste system. Buddha was against the caste system. He did not believe that salvation in this life depended upon belonging to a caste and following the caste system and worshipping various gods. He had a different idea in which he believed everybody was equal. This opposed the prevailing religion here in India. The Brahmins, for example, they believed that goodness meant following the rituals. They had set rituals, the worships of the gods, and strict adherence to the caste system. So you proved your goodness by being a good member of your caste. Their whole idea of what is goodness and virtue was contradicted by the teachings of Buddha, as he had a different idea of what constituted goodness and virtue. So who is good? Which one is good? Which one is the right one and which one is the wrong one? The reason why Buddhism, you will not find it in India today, is because the kings supported the Vedic religion and slaughtered the Buddhists. They literally slaughtered them, invaded their monasteries and slaughtered them en masse until there were none left or they fled. This is how they dealt with it. Is this good? Maybe it is good in the eyes of the people following that religion. I don't think it's good in the eyes of the Buddhist, or probably it's not good in the eyes of most of us. So what makes a good person? What makes a person good? One of the important things, of course, is your intention. What is your intention? By what and for what do you intend to do something? In Islam, of course, something is good only when it is intended for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. In order for an action to be acceptable to Allah, the first condition is it has to be done sincerely and purely for the pleasure of Allah, hoping for Allah's reward, His paradise, and fearing Allah's punishment. Now some people, mostly what we call secular humanists, they say, oh, that is not a good reason to do good deeds, because you're afraid of the hellfire, because you want paradise. Surely the reason you should do good deeds is through altruism. You should just do it because it's good. And they propagate this idea of the benefit of altruistic behavior. I myself do not believe there is such a thing as altruism, doing something without any benefit. Because even these people who do good deeds, don't you think that when they do a good deed, they get some feeling of satisfaction? You know, I did a good deed, I feel a bit good about myself. Certainly they do. That means they are satisfying themselves. They want to feel inside themselves satisfied. That means they, in fact, make themselves the center of the universe. They themselves make themselves the center of the universe. This is actually psychologically more likely to breed arrogance and pride. Is that a good characteristic, to be arrogant? Is that a good characteristic, to be proud? I don't think so. Whereas a Muslim, we do things purely and sincerely for the pleasure of Allah. In fact, there may be some things that Allah tells us to do it, even though we don't like it. And Allah tells us to leave something, even though we like it. It is not an issue whether I imagine it is going to make me feel good or not. For the Muslim, the purpose is only pleasing Allah, only pleasing the Lord of all the creation. So our intention has to be correct. But is that enough? Is it enough for the intention to be correct in order for the deed to be good? No. The deed also has to be correct, meaning the deed has to be done according to the Sharia, according to the law that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us in the Quran and in the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So we need these two things, pure intention and the action must be correct. It is only when these two things come together, the deed is considered to be a good deed. If my intention is pure, but my action is not correct, it's not done according to Islam, it's not done according to the Sunnah, Allah will not accept it. If the action is correct and done according to the Sunnah and the Sharia, but I do it to show off, I do it to impress people, then the action is not accepted. It has to be both sincere and correct. And there is one other thing, very important. The deed has to be done with Iman, true faith. True faith is the basis of everything in Islam. If our belief concerning Allah is not correct, if our faith is not correct, if we are worshipping something or someone along with Allah, then our deeds will be useless, our deeds will be futile, our deeds will be vain. Allah in the Quran is always giving beautiful examples. Beautiful examples for a person who has intellect, who can think, to understand by them the truth of what He has revealed. And I have taken some example from the Quran and from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but I applied it to a modern context. So let me ask all of you a question. If you have a business, you're a businessman, and you have a business. In your business, you employ people to work for you. Yes? What if you are paying someone? You're paying the money to work for you, and then you discover all the time you were paying them, that time they were using to actually work for someone else. Does this person still deserve a job? Or does this person deserve to be fired? Okay, there's no doubt. This person deserves to be sacked, to be fired. They have committed an act of injustice. You pay them and they work for someone else. Allah created you and Allah gave you life. And Allah feeds you and clothes you. And you worship someone or something other than Allah. What do you deserve? What do you deserve?